Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Sammy Leggett here, representing Team JVS, here to give you guys another movie review. This is a movie that's coming to Netflix very soon, December the 13th. I'm talking about Carry On. This is a great cast with Taron Egerton, Jason Bateman in a very interesting role, Dean Norris, Theo Rossi, and a slew of other amazing actors and actresses. The premise of this is you've got a main character named Ethan. Ethan is a person that is one of the TSA agents. TSA commonly go and they just kind of check bags to make sure things are going where they're supposed to go. And, you know, everybody that kind of goes to the airport is kind of a hassle. You know, you're like, oh, crap, I got to take my shoes off, I got to take my belt out, I got to do all these kind of things. They go and they scan what they need to scan, and then that's pretty much it, right? Well, unfortunately, Ethan has a unfortunate visitor that calls him and asks him to a favor. And that favor is to let one bag go through, and that's all he's got to do. No questions asked. But if he doesn't do that, there are consequences, and that's the premise of the film. What did I think about this? This was so much freaking fun. And I say that, and I preface it like this in the sense of what it actually is. This is an action thriller that takes place during Christmas time. So this is technically a Christmas movie. Like, yes, kind of like how Die Hard is. But this scenario is a very interesting one, and they use certain scenarios that, you know, you kind of pick apart from different movies and different shows, and you're like, oh, okay, I've seen this before, but then you kind of haven't, because every single time you got the main character, Ethan, that's being confronted with a difficult obstacle, they put an equally impossible obstacle that one way or another is going to have a terrible consequence. So the way they handle tone in this allows the progression of the story to up the ante every single time. There are dire consequences that happen in this, and I just didn't anticipate. I thought it was going to be kind of cookie cutter, like, okay, he's going to do this, he's going to work his way up. Like, no, like very early on, he tries to do something very slick, and it gets cut down in a worst way possible for him. So throughout the film, Taron Egerton's character is going through a lot of mental distress, and at the same exact time, his inadequacies, because in the side of his ears, someone is talking to him and telling him everything he's supposed to do, and he has to contradict that as best he can to try to figure out how to get out of this situation. Last time I've seen something this interesting is probably since Red Eye with Cillian Murphy. And I think that this is another really good thriller. The other thing that I did find interesting in this that I just didn't anticipate loving and hating all the same at that time is Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman's character in this film is so sick and deranged, but he's got his charm about him and his charisma and natural humor. Like, Jason Bateman's a great actor. If you don't know, he's a great actor. But in this film, he is just deadly, precise, controlling, maniacal, all this and that, and he is chopping up every single scene he's in. And the crazy thing is, he's not, what's the last movie I saw with Colin Farrell a long time ago? Phone Booth. Phone Booth had a scenario where Colin Farrell was being talked to by somebody he didn't know, but he was just ruining Colin Farrell's whole day and his whole life ultimately. And this reminds me of that. And that voice that's in the back of Taron Egerton's head, he's great in expressions, and Taron, like, he can easily emote, but at the same time he can come off as the hero and you want to rally behind him, and I think that adds to some of the elements of what things are happening in this. Now, I think another person that actually did a really good job is Theo Rossi. Theo Rossi was a psychopath in this, and he always plays kind of like the bad guy, but I really loved him as kind of like the watcher, without saying too much. There's some tricks and things that you just don't anticipate either, because I did not realize that Danielle Deadwyler, this amazing actress that she is playing like a detective in this as well. And she is really good in this as well. Long end of it, I could kind of break down and say like, oh man, this is a great score, this is great cinematography, but no, this is not what that was. I knew that wasn't what I was getting for. What I didn't anticipate was it was paced really well. It was edited pretty well. It kept my intrigue. And honestly, the last time I've seen anything with a decent airport, like anything storyline, was Hijack with Idris Elba. and that is on Amazon. Not on Amazon, God. That's on Apple TV Plus. It's a show, and it takes place every hour, and it's really engaging. But this, I think that the way that they handle stakes and adding tone and positioning it well, like, you can't not watch this film. I think you're gonna watch and you're like, oh wow, this is getting better. It's getting better. Oh wow, are they gonna really go this route? Like, oh snap! And you find yourself rallying for, hoping for a good resolution, but you know it's not gonna be. And it's really good. I think it's really good. I mean, if I had to nitpick, I mean, some stuff is kind of telegraphed, like where things are gonna go. The relationship between Taron Egerton's character and God, I'm spacing on her name. Sophia Carlson's character, Nora. I think that it wasn't weak. It just I didn't have enough time with them. There are some good scenes with them, but I didn't have enough time to add to that level of like emotional connection. But nonetheless, what's happening is life changing and deadly. So I mean, I would love to have had that, but it just would have added to the nuance of the film and maybe like add to like, you know, rewatchability. But I think ultimately, man, like I would watch this anytime. Like this is a really good thriller, and I mean you got great actors in it, and I think that they're playing off each other really well. But again, at the epicenter of it is Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman. Like they are commanding scenes and they are working their round, so to speak. And I just didn't anticipate Jason Bateman being like this in any way, shape, or form either. So highly recommend you go and check it out. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely highly recommend as far as a thriller this year. This came out of nowhere. Shout out to Netflix for coming out some good films. I know that sounds really weird to say, but we know for a fact they come out with great, you know, character-driven films, great cinematic films. But when it comes to the action, like Rebel Ridge was great, this is great, and of course they got great TV shows, but I'm really happy that this was actually good. So let me know what you guys think once you check it out. If you're anticipating what you thought what it could be, well, just let you know it's gonna be good. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace, people.